guys, welcome to Super Marvel Brothers, this Marvel Cinematic Universe recap podcast to prepare you for...
You gonna do it?
The coolest?
No.
Greatest
Greatest
cinematic event
in
recent history.
Human
history. Whatever, it's not my thing.
The greatest cinematic event in the history of the world. It's not that hard.
I come for the lead cameos. We all know this.
Yeah, I know.
This week...
Plebeian.
This week we watched Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, we told you we were doing that last week. We didn't. Now we do it.
Well, we took a quick road trip to Wakanda, so...
Yeah, and Steve's going to be making a road trip to that soon, too.
Oh, man, can't wait.
April?
It got moved back, or forward.
Oh, do you want to talk about that before we get started?
Yeah, we talked about this recently, this past week. The news broke that Infinity War got moved to April 27th instead of
May 4th.
May 4th.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. sent a tweet saying, "Can I please see it earlier?" And Marvel's like, "Okay," which obviously was planned, but it was kind of cute the way they did. It's a good business move by Disney because they have both the Solo movie and now they own Deadpool, so that's coming out too in May.
Yeah.
So it was a good business move to move it up so it's not cannibalizing. I actually looked at the film schedule. There's not a lot to compete with from the 27th to the next 2 weeks. So good business move. Kind of screws this whole podcast over, though.
Yeah, we were talking about it. Our options were either to release 2 in 1 week or just keep going. And I think we're just going to keep going.
We're just going to keep going. So originally, this worked out perfectly because if you watch one Marvel movie a week starting in January, you would be finished the week before Infinity War. Well, that's not the case anymore.
Yeah, so we're just going to keep going. We'll do Infinity War the week after it comes out.
Yeah, but give you enough time to go see it.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to get in those. I think that theater's going to be packed. So.
Oh, yeah. No, that whole weekend, you're going to have
pre-order your tickets, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot stress that enough. And do not sit in the front row. I did that for a Marvel movie once, and it was not a good experience.
All right, so getting into it.
Yeah, so we have Captain America, the Winter Soldier, comes out in 2014. First MCU movie done by the Russo brothers, who also they're doing Infinity War.
Yeah.
They're the directors of Infinity War.
I feel like we've time-stamped every movie with where we were in life at that point. I believe I was my first year in college.
So...
You would have been finishing up.
2014, I graduated the year before.
Okay. Yeah,
so, Oh, man, yeah, I was...
You were...
I was gainfully underemployed at that time. Gainfully underemployed. I do remember a funny story, though. We went to go see this at our local cinema, me and my one friend. Shout out to Q out there.
Q.
And it was sold out.
Yeah.
And our two options were to either go see the Grand Budapest Hotel or go to a bar. And we went to a bar.
Well, okay. So, yeah, directed by the Russo brothers.
Very, very successful movie. Made over it's about $715 million worldwide. So, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you gave that to me, I'd take it.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't turn it down.
So, should we just get into the movie now?
Yeah,
we got all the backstory out of there. All right, so we start with we see Falcon basically running.
Yeah.
And Captain America is constantly lapping him, saying, "On your left."
Which
on your left.
is a pretty funny scene.
It's a pretty funny scene. It's kind of nice that they started with a little bit of humor because the movie gets dark pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So it's nice that you kind of start like happy-go-lucky, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
We get this interaction between Steve and what's Falcon's name again?
Sam.
Sam. Yeah, that's right, Sam. So Steve and Sam are kind of talking. We find out Sam's actually retired military.
He says paratrooper.
Paratrooper, yeah. It says retired paratrooper, used to fly.
Yeah.
Which is key there. He says he flew.
Yeah.
But now he works for kind of soldiers that have PTSD, kind of runs like a support group for him now.
He's at the VA. And they kind of share the soldier backstory a little bit, you know, sharing some experiences. And then Sam tells him to, you know, go listen to the Marvin Gaye Trouble Man album. He's like, it's everything you missed wrapped up in one album.
Oh, can we just point out one more thing before we go to that?
Yeah.
I do like when Sam asks him, like, so what's life like now? And Captain America with this I don't think it's supposed to be as funny as it is, but I laughed really hard saying, you know, there's no polio, so that's nice. So food's better. We used to boil everything. No polio, so I just laughed really hard at that line. It was really well delivered.
It's pretty good.
So yeah, we see the list.
The list of all the things he has to catch up on. There was
Should we just go? Should I just read the list?
Yeah, I'm kind of concerned about the priority of some of these things.
So we don't know if we don't know if it's prioritized, or it's just how people told him.
Right.
But let's go through the list. We pause it. It says, "I Love Lucy." The moon landing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I feel like that would be the first thing. You'd be like, "Wait, we went to the moon?"
I feel like he saw so much crazy crap in World War II that's not that surprising to him now.
I guess.
I mean, he saw that bomber and he saw an Infinity Stone.
The moon, though, the thing in the sky, like.
So we have I Love Lucy, the moon landing, Berlin Wall, both up and down.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs' Apple, Disco,
Thai
food, which he could have probably found back then. Yeah. It's not as good.
Yeah.
Star Wars, Nirvana. I could not see the note he wrote next to Nirvana.
It was banned.
Oh, just banned. Okay. Rocky 2 ? And now Trouble Man. Interesting side note about this I read about when this movie came out. Apparently, depending on what country you saw this movie in, you got a different list.
Really?
Yeah, they tailored it to the country.
I like when movies do that.
It's a little neat little side plot there. I don't know any of the list.
Right.
It could be a lie for all I know. I just read it on the internet.
Right.
But I choose to believe it.
It's like when Zootopia made the different anchors, different animals and stuff.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, depending on where you saw them, it was like China had like a panda and stuff like that. Like Australia had like a koala or something.
Neat.
Yeah, I think Canada had a moose.
Of course.
Freaking
moose junkies.
So, yeah, so he kind of adds to this list.
And then we have Romanoff pick
yeah, Romanoff picks him up, makes a joke about, oh, where's the Smithsonian? I'm picking up a fossil.
Again, you're just keeping this humor. Get all the humor out of the way now.
Yeah.
Get it all the way.
Get it out.
Because it's not going to be a very happy, cheerful movie after this. So we get to a secret mission now that a boat has been hijacked by pirates. So naturally, the only person to stop pirates is Captain America.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Enemy of pirates, Captain America. Hands down.
We get to see the new stealth suit, which, let's talk about this, because I'm going to say it's the best
it is really good.
Captain America suit. And I really like the original suit.
I mean, we'll have to see. I don't know if it's going to be, quote unquote, an Infinity War, if it's going to be the Nomad suit or what, but I believe Captain America does take on the moniker of the Nomad after he kind of gets like.
Do you think they're gonna do that in the movie?
I don't think they'll call him the Nomad, but I think it's gonna be.
That would be really corny.
It's
if
gonna
they
be
did that.
implied.
Yeah. They can imply it all they want, but they might not say
the suit will probably have like similarities. And
I just don't. I don't want to hear someone saying, "Oh, you're the Nomad."
Like maybe because if he is in Africa, maybe if you hear tell from like a village, it's like, oh, the Nomad. I'd take that.
Yeah, I better not hear a main character say.
No, I don't want to like unless it's making fun of it. Like unless Tony Stark seems like, oh, the Nomad. Like
And even then, I don't know.
You know. Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, I like all the Captain America suits minus the Avengers one.
It's so rubbery.
It's so rubbery. It looks so fake. It looks like a basketball almost.
It does. But
this suit, I think this is my favorite one. It's very clean. It's very subtle, which this movie does not do a good job of making anything else subtle. So I like they at least tried with this one.
So we get a really cool like infiltration scene of the boat. He's kind of stealthing around, taking care of guys, throwing his shield around, being very efficient.
One thing I want to point out about this movie, and I see it multiple times, the choreography of the fighting is amazing in this movie.
It's really good.
You're not used to these kind of movies seeing the one-on-one fighting like this.
Yeah.
You're used to Thor dropping lightning or Iron Man shooting stuff.
Right.
But the fact that the choreography of these one-on-one fights, both on the boat and then later when we get into DC.
Yeah.
Very well done. It's obviously lots of practice, and just the shooting of it, how you could get all those action shots are amazing.
I think you can find bloopers of the fight between him and the Winter Soldier later in the movie, and it's just like he does a lot of like knife tricks, like he's tossing the knife around catching it, and I think there's like a supercut of just like him dropping the knife.
I believe it. Fun. It's like that GIF of
Thor.
Yeah, Thor hammer. Getting the hammer. He just like bobbles it like 8 times.
He juggles it.
He's juggling Mjolnir.
Okay, yeah. So they're on the boat. Captain America is going to rescue hostages.
Yeah, he's been tasked to rescue hostages. Black Widow is also there. She has a different mission. She's actually stealing intel from the boat.
And what's important to know is that Captain America was not aware of that.
Yes, and that causes a huge issue because Captain America says the only way an army works is if everyone knows the objectives.
Right.
And not knowing these objectives kind of compromise the mission. And actually put them in a couple of situations that were a little more dangerous than they probably should have been.
So we're going to fast forward through this because that's pretty much the main part of that scene. He goes back to Nick Fury and kind of gives him that whole spiel. And this sets up Civil War, I think. like kind of way down the road, but it sets up like
I think they've there's little hints of Civil War throughout the MCU. You can even start seeing it in the Avengers, which again goes to the fact that they have planned this out a lot better than, say, I don't know, the DC cinematic universe.
Yeah, because they start, you get Steve Rogers very definitely like, oh, this is how it has to be. We have to trust each other. There can be no secrets, and it's like about what's doing right. And then you get Nick Fury's pretty valid standpoint of like, yeah, but if no one knows all the secrets, then no one can spill all the secrets.
And you kind of get a little more of the backstory with Nick Fury, the fact that he lost his eye the last time he trusted someone. Yeah. So he kind of he gives a really cool story as they're going down to the helicarriers. Yeah. Of how his grandfather said like
he worked as an elevator.
Yeah, and he said life got rougher, the world got real, and now he had to start carrying a gun around to protect himself. So it's like you kind of understand like when again it goes back to this time difference here. Yeah. The 1940s were a lot different than...
People had an honor code then.
Yeah, kind of. Everyone just whistled down the street.
Yeah, absolutely. There was nothing bad happening.
There was cheerful music playing around the corner all the time.
And people were bouncing to the beat all the time?
Yes, it was great.
Everyone wore white gloves? That was weird.
That was kind of weird.
It was kind of a weird germaphobe...
I'm kind of glad that died with Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
That's something we didn't need from the 1940s.
Rest in peace, but...
Yeah, we didn't need that in the 1940s.
Thank God for taking the gloves with you.
Yeah, but we get to see the helicarriers. There's now 3 of them, and they're fully armed.
Oh, man, they look like...
They're so cool.
You sunk my battleship. Oh, and my country.
The 10-year-old in me was going crazy like, I want that.
Yeah, they're fully decked out with guns to the point where Fury says they can take out 1,000 people a minute.
Yeah, and
there's 3 of them.
Yeah, it's amazing like how armed they are, and he kind of starts going over the plan that they're going to start tracing people based on DNA. Mm-hmm. He makes the line like a terrorist won't be able to get out of his spider hole without getting blown up. Right. Which raises some alarms with Steve because I think he starts seeing that this is kind of what Hydra is trying to do.
Yeah, and he brings up a good thing about like saying you're holding the gun to people and calling it freedom.
Yeah, if you're putting the gun to people's temple, you can't say it's freedom, it's terror.
Yeah.
Which then Fury kind of counters with, we got to live in the world we live in, not the world we want it to be.
Yeah, that's what S.H.I.E.L.D. says, like, we work for the world we live in, not what we want it to be.
And he brings up the fact about New York, like, you need to be prepared for events like that.
I'm really glad that had a huge impact, because New York is mentioned... like practically in every movie after Avengers.
Well, it's mentioned in Iron Man 3. It's mentioned in Thor 2.
It's
huge
mentioned part of Spider-Man.
It is. Yeah, it's a huge part of Spider-Man. Like, I'm glad that this isn't something that was like it was a major event, and you're not just pushing it over. You're saying this is how it ties into everything else.
It caused ripples, which is why that got a 5 in development. But
go listen to the episode on that.
So good.
We get after we have the safety versus freedom debate, which I think is a huge thing going throughout the rest of the MCU. At least, I guess, until Infinity War. I feel like that's probably going to change then.
I kind of hope they tie that knot with Infinity War, and then we can move on to the next kind of arc.
Yeah, more cosmic-y stuff.
Yeah, you have to at that point.
Yeah, I think there's nowhere to go but there. But we get a museum tour.
Yeah, this is a cool scene because Steve Rogers goes to the museum that he's featured in. He's kind of like pseudo undercover. He has like a hat on, and like a kid notices him. He's like, shh,
So I think they tried to do 2 things with this scene. I think they did well. One is if you hadn't seen the MCU for whatever reason, if you get the backstory of Captain America here in like 2 minutes.
If you weren't maybe you're with your significant other and you're not into the comic book movies, but they are, and you guys went out and saw this, and you didn't see the first Captain America, I could see this being like, okay, here's kind of what happened.
This is how you do an origin story without doing a whole movie towards it.
Or just exposition at the beginning.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But the other...
like Thor 2 should have done.
Oh, God.
If Thor 2 just did
Can we stop? No.
No, I'm sorry. I want to do this real quick. If Thor 2 just did the storybook thing when they did it, do you think it would have been better if they cut out that exposition at the front?
There's a lot that needs to be cut out of that movie. Like, 2 hours of it needs to be cut out.
So it's like... 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes of Thor throwing stuff. That'd be great. But the other thing they do really well in the museum scene is it kind of gives you that idea that like he has nothing left.
Yeah.
He sees all his friends. You're seeing all these clips, and then you realize that. And then we cut. He goes into an interview, a video of Peggy.
Yeah.
Saying like how Steve saved 1,000 soldiers and one of them ended up being your husband. And then you kind of get that gut check like, oh yeah, she probably married.
Yeah, her life moved on.
And his didn't because he was frozen in Greenland or something.
It's pretty...
Which then goes into the even more gut-wrenching scene.
Oh my god, where he's with Peggy and she's like 90.
Yeah, she's like on her deathbed at this point.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
she's bedridden.
She does die very shortly after this.
Oh, does she?
You've seen Civil War, right?
Oh, yeah, okay. Look, it's been a while.
Okay.
So... it's really, like, they're talking, and she's like, yeah, like, all this stuff, like, it's not your fault.
The one line that I remember, she says, my biggest regret is you didn't get to live your life.
Yeah. And
then she has a coughing fit, and then it's like she's never seen him before.
Yeah, which that's
so she's really, obviously suffering from dementia.
That's really rough.
And you can tell that kind of... I feel like he's probably seen that before, but even then, it still takes him back.
Oh, yeah.
And he's very affected by that, so... A lot of feels. A lot of feels in this movie, just in general.
Oh, you get some chuckles? You got some chuckles? Nah. Let's get rid of those chuckles.
I hope you enjoyed those first 20 minutes, because it's all dark and downhill from here. Even then, it's not that dark. I mean, it's a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
But we get a meeting. We get to meet Pierce for the first time, played by Robert Redford. Does a great job in this movie. And he's with the council. The council's kind of talking about Project Insight is what they're calling this system.
The helicarriers.
The helicarrier system. Fury, after having this talk with Captain America, comes up and says, we need to delay Project Insight. You need to get this delayed. It's probably nothing, but I need to look a little more into this.
Right.
Which I love that Pierce is now using... Pierce says, I'll do this if you have Iron Man stop by my granddaughter's birthday party.
Yeah, by the way... You can barely keep Tony controlled on, like, a battlefield. I don't think you can call Tony Stark up and be like, Tony, it's Nick Fury. You need to go to these coordinates at this time. And then he shows up to a birthday party and then mingles. Like, no way. He's going to show up, be like, okay, Fury, you played me, and then leave.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Especially once he explains what it's for. Hey, I need to delay this system. It's going to kill thousands of people at once.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, but it's kind of nice to see Pierce, and you see the council. In Avengers, they were just these faceless individuals. Now they actually have characters. Not that they're developed or anything, but they're there.
But you have faces. Pierce is actually... What's interesting about Pierce is he's very... Like, you like him at the start, I think. Like, he's a very likable guy.
He's very charismatic.
Yeah.
Robert Redford's very charismatic.
Yeah, he's very charming. And he has this, like, rapport with Nick Fury, which is kind of weird, because Nick Fury is kind of a very... inhuman character.
Well, they have a history.
Right.
He talks about the story where there was a terrorist organization. Fury wanted to go underground to, like, get everyone out of there.
Yeah.
And Pierce tried to negotiate. And when he tried to negotiate and realized there was no negotiation, they went to go kill the hostage, and Fury had to take him out because he ignored orders.
Right.
So you kind of get this idea that he's more like the diplomatic one.
Yeah.
Where Fury's more the action one.
Yeah.
Which, as we find out later, is really not the case. But it's a nice, like... It gets you to buy into the character.
Yeah.
As we go on... after that, we cut to Steve visiting Sam at his VA clinic.
Yeah, which that's kind of cool because he's going through, like... There's with these soldiers who are having, like, trouble reacclimating to civilian life and, like, some symptoms of PTSD in the stories they tell. And Sam's kind of helping to counsel them through that.
And you kind of get to see, like, he understands what it's like to, like, come back and not realize...
Yeah.
Like, not be able to kind of connect with civilian life. It kind of reminds me, if you've ever seen the movie The Hurt Locker, that's, like, a big plot in that movie.
Yeah, I saw that movie a long time ago, and I kind of want to rewatch it.
It's on Netflix, so...
Oh, yeah?
Maybe we should do, like, a bonus episode. We'll watch The Hurt Locker and rank it on the SHIELD scale.
I don't think we should do that.
I don't think we should do that either. Anyway, but you get this nice connection, and...
Oh, we didn't bring that up. Can we bring that up? How you made the suggestion of changing the...
We'll do that at the end. Okay. Hold on to that to the end. That's the hook, ladies and gentlemen, because we're super professional when we do this.
Oh, man.
So, but they do have this conversation where Steve doesn't know what he wants to do now. It feels like he wants to get out of this military life. It's all he's known for so long.
Right.
And Sam brings up the point that you can do whatever you want, which I brought up. What if in the MCU... Mm-hmm. Steve Rogers becomes like the new Rock.
Can you smell what the cap is cooking?
Or just a movie star. I mean, that's what I was going with, but...
Oh. Oh, see, I was thinking like what, he became a professional wrestler because he would demolish everyone.
Yeah, but imagine like watching the new Jumanji and then you see Steve Rogers in it. It'd be funny.
That would be funny.
So we then cut to Fury driving, little Sunday.
Oh, this is such a good scene.
Little Sunday driving there, little Sunday morning stroll in the car.
He's talking to Maria Hill about something about like the data they collected. And then when that conversation ends, he's like pulled up next to a cop,
and the cops are eyeing him down real hard.
Yeah, and he kind of makes a joke. He's like, "You want to see my lease or whatever?" And then they pull forward, and then he's crossing the intersection. He just gets totally T-boned.
He gets T-boned and then sandwiched between 4 other cars, so he's stuck. He can't move. The car's systems have been knocked out because of the hit.
Yeah. And
we start...
Oh, yeah. By the way, shield car. Like, super high tech.
Shield car, yeah, is basically like a baby Jarvis.
Yeah, so he's sandwiched between these 4 cop cars. And then they all start trying to, like, get in. And, of course, it's super souped up because it's Nick Fury.
He's got heavy armor. They're shooting at it. They eventually bring this really cool battering ram in.
Yeah.
Which I said looks amazing, but that's probably something that actually does exist.
Something similar, I'm sure.
But it's, like, motorized and it's slamming into the car window. Which is not breaking easily because it's a shield car.
Right.
And the car keeps saying, deploy defensive measures. Deploy, and he's just like, no, not yet, not yet. And then, a little cliche, the window's down to 1% integrity. Yeah. He says, now! And he pulls this giant Gatling gun out of the center console.
Like, where most people keep CDs, maybe some, like, painkillers,
maybe it's sunglasses. Sunglasses.
No, of course Nick Fury has a Gatling gun in there.
With a grenade launcher.
Yeah, like, oh,
and he just mows all these people down. His car is finally operational, and he puts it into autopilot.
Yeah.
And we get this really cool chase scene through downtown D.C.
Yeah, and it's really... Like, because there's, like, 3 cars of cops chasing him. Quote-unquote cops.
I try not to do a lot of describing of these scenes because I feel like you need to watch it to get the full picture. But I just say, it's, again, very well done. Everything's shot very well. Just the action, it's a very good action scene.
Yeah, it's really well done, which that carries through for the rest of the movie, is that the action scenes are really well done.
Action scenes are very done. Especially because the Russo brothers before this, they had done Community, and that was it. And everyone was super nervous about this.
You see a few Community stars if you watch it. I started watching it, and there are a few stars I picked up on.
Oh, yeah, they try and throw them in there. We basically end the scene, though, with the Winter Soldier in front of Fury, and he launches a super awesome magnet bomb.
Yeah, the, like, Ratchet and Clank level, like, shoots a disc, then automatically sticks to the bottom of his car.
And then blows it up and flips it.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
That was crazy.
But luckily... Nick Fury has a lightsaber.
Yeah, Nick Fury's, like, more paranoid than Batman. He's just like, I'm going to tunnel out because I have a super torch.
Yeah, he cuts out the concrete and goes into, I'm assuming, the sewers.
Yeah.
Which is very good for all those cuts and bruises he had. I'm sure sewer water is great for that.
Clean that right up.
Yeah, I mean, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? We kind of cut, I guess we cut straight back to Steve then, coming back to his apartment.
Yeah, so Steve's coming back. He kind of has this semi-flirtatious encounter with his neighbor.
Sharon? Is that her name?
Sharon.
Yes, Sharon.
And he comes into his apartment to hear his music playing.
Yeah, Sharon brought up, was like, I think you left your radio on. And Steve automatically becomes very paranoid, which you should be, because Captain America doesn't seem like the kind of guy who's going to waste electricity like that.
Yeah. Also, you'd think she'd be like, why are you listening to oldies?
I think that's pretty much implied.
I guess everyone kind of knows who he is.
Yeah, he doesn't have a secret identity, which, again, why does he wear a helmet? No one knows.
So he goes in.
I guess he's trying not to get CTE like everyone else in the MCU.
And he has his shield just kind of in his entry hallway for some reason.
Yeah, he just lays it around the floor. I mean, kind of like what I do when I throw my bag down after work.
I guess that's fair. And he is like ready to assault whoever's there, and then he sees Nick Fury sitting in a chair. Yeah,
we have this kind of conversation. They're obviously talking in code that Fury's been kicked out by his wife, but he's saying Shield's compromised. Like, they did this to me.
Right. Trust
no one. When 3 50 caliber bullets come and hit him in the back of the chest.
Through a wall.
And they leave giant holes.
Yeah, and which Sharon comes in the room, and she's like, I'm Agent 13, I was here to protect you, pretty much.
And find out that Fury's the one that ordered that.
Yeah.
Cap starts chasing after, which we find is the Winter Soldier. And you get that iconic scene where he throws his shield, but he catches it with his metal arm and stops it, which is the first time anything has stopped the shield.
Yeah, and that was like, whoa, wait a minute.
And he just disappears, so...
Yeah. We then cut to...
We're now in S.H.I.E.L.D. again after that.
He's talking to Pierce.
They're investigating. They're kind of investigating everything. Oh, we forgot, as Fury was being, bleeding out, he gives him the zip drive that they got from the boat. So we find the importance of this. Are they in the hospital at this point?
Oh yeah, they are. They're in the hospital. Nick Fury's getting operated on,
and we see that his pulse goes down to 0.
Yeah, Black Widow and Maria Hill are there, and there's kind of this discussion between all of them, like, what's gonna happen, blah blah blah. Steve decides to hide the zip drive. Well,
before that, he pulls Black Widow. No, that's not. I'm sorry, that's later in the movie because we're back in the elevator. Yeah. So the fate of this movie, the fate of the civilized world, relies on the fact that no one's going to buy Hubba Bubba gum.
Yeah, out of a vending machine.
Because he puts it behind 3 packs of Hubba Bubba gum.
Yeah.
So I just love that. Like, I don't know if that's a slap in the face at Hubba Bubba or the fact that.
Let's be fair. It was a sponsorship from Hubba Bubba.
That too. I also just love the fact, like, who's in a hospital, like, with a relative who's been severely injured? It's like, really go for some Hubba Bubba. Right now.
Like, no
chips. I get pretzels.
I don't think,
a candy bar.
I don't think I've thought about Hubba Bubba in the past 4 years of my life.
So is this a very successful sponsorship?
I'm not gonna go out and buy Hubba Bubba. I'm not.
But we're talking about it.
You get 5 pieces per pack. It's horrible.
By the way, this is not sponsored content. The Super Mario Brothers cannot be bought.
Well, Hubba Bubba, hit us up. We'll see if we can be bought. You sign that check, we'll see how big the number is.
So yeah, now we cut to S.H.I.E.L.D. and they're talking to Pierce and just kind of wanting to know what's happening. And he kind of puts that seed that, the reason your apartment was bugged is because of Fury.
Yeah.
And that he's not all that what he seems. So now we're kind of trying to figure out who's in the right here. Was it Fury? Is it Pierce? We don't really know now.
Yeah.
We get to the elevator scene.
Yeah, the really cool scene that they kind of took out from the comics. They took it actually from the comics of Civil War, which is interesting. It's one of the few comics I have read. And he's in an elevator, and his kind of strike team goes in with him, and they're saying I'm sorry about everything that happened.
It's we got some ballistics looking at things.
Yeah.
And then at every step you get a couple more people.
Yeah, every floor a few more people get on.
We did our last episode really late. Now we're doing this one really early.
Yeah.
A couple more people get on every single... And he starts noticing things like someone's holding their baton really tightly, someone's sweating, and then he says that line, before we start today, I want to get out of here, with 10 other people in this small elevator.
And that one guy decides to take that step early and tries to get him with the baton. And it just turns into this really awesome fight scene with 8 people in a really small space.
Yeah, it's very well done. They have these electromagnets that are super strong and can pin his arm, and he's has at one point his arm pinned on the wall, but he's still kicking everyone's butt.
Yeah.
And then we start seeing this whole thing. Once he beats everyone in the elevator, you start seeing SWAT teams coming out at everywhere. Yeah. And he has no choice but to make at least a 30-story jump.
Oh yeah, he hops out the window, crashes through a skylight on the bottom floor.
But vibranium magic.
Yeah.
He lands on the shield and everything's okay.
Oh man, jeez, that's ridiculous.
There's so much magic in this movie. Yeah. In these movies, I should say. So now we get this scene. He's on his motorcycle being shot at by one of the plane. They're not even planes. What are they I guess we'll call them planes, but they have the helicopter.
Harriers, kind of.
Yeah, they're kind of that's a good one. Harriers. Being shot at, but he, his magic shield can go and find that turbine very quickly and damage the whole thing.
Yeah.
So now
he's a shield wizard, is what he is.
He is a shield. Maybe he is a for our new scale.
he might apply.
He might.
Yeah. So he gets away barely,
and he goes back to the hospital to try and get the zip drive, but it's not there.
Which Black Widow shows up chewing bubblegum, which means she bought 3 to 4 packs of Hubba Bubba.
She was desperate for that, man.
And then she decided to put one in her mouth. That's the worst part.
They go to Do you want to go more about?
Yeah, you can find a kid in the hospital and be like, here, have some free bubble gum. Like, cause I think they're the only ones willing to go down to Hubba Bubba.
I'd like to believe that she bought them all and then just left them in that
left them in the tray except for one.
Except for one.
She opened one, took a piece out, and then put it back.
Well, they're all individually wrapped. It's okay.
Yeah, I guess, but still, I'm sorry. If I pick up Hubba Bubba and one's missing, I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna eat the rest of this Hubba Bubba.
Ooh, free gum in a hospital. They go into a separate room now. Are we done with the gum now?
Yeah.
Okay, we're done with the gum. They go into a separate room now, and we get some more backstory of both Black Widow as well as what they call the Winter Soldier, how he's a ghost.
Yeah.
She had a mission with involving him earlier in her career.
He pretty much shot through
her. So it just gives a nice little backstory there. We then go, I guess they go undercover. Well, not undercover. They know they're compromised. S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of says, if it's a phone, if it's a tweet, I want to know where this guy is.
Right.
So they need to figure out what's on the zip drive. So they go to the mall, like a shopping mall, not the National Mall.
Yeah, and they go to the shopping mall, and they go to an Apple store, and they are trying to they're trying to use one of the computers there to like plug in the zip drive and figure out where.
And it's important to note that they say once that's plugged in, you've got like 90 seconds before S.H.I.E.L.D. knows where you are.
Yeah.
Or something like that. They plug it in. Someone comes over, one of the tech guys, which I think you said is from Community.
Yeah, he is from Community. And that's kind of funny.
They kind of play off they're getting married and playing the honeymoon, and he's like, "Oh, where are you going? Jersey?"
Yeah.
Oh.
And at first it's like he has this moment where it's like, oh, he recognizes him as Captain America. He's like, I have the same pair of glasses at home.
So I guess the comedy's not totally gone, but
yeah,
definitely not as prevalent as earlier.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we got some heavier stuff going on.
So they find out that where this information came from is actually from a base in New Jersey, which is actually the base in the first Avenger where Steve trained before he got the super serum.
Yeah, it's it's kind of it's kind of a nice throwback because he has this moment where he's like sees like images of the past of.
That's very well done.
Yeah.
He like sees this flagpole and then imagines like soldiers coming through and then sees him and they kind of have this old Cap and new Cap looking at each other, kind of like can't believing where they're from.
And then Captain America, you know,
you brought up in the movie.
I almost said Scarlet Witch. Black Widow is pretty much like, oh yeah, I'm not getting any signal. This was for nothing. And Captain America, being the nerd that he is,
you said who knows this, and I said who else would know this but Captain America?
Yeah, he's like, Army regulations say you're not allowed to store munitions within 500 yards of the barracks, so this is out of place. And they go to a bunker, and
we see that it's actually the first S.H.I.E.L.D. office.
Yeah.
So it would make sense. Like that's kind of where S.H.I.E.L.D. started with Captain America, and this is where you would see like Tommy Lee Jones' character and
S.H.I.E.L.D. wasn't as careful back then. They would have known that now. They would have said, no, we can't put it here.
Yeah. Well, no one was looking for that back then. Now it's a little bigger. They go into the bottom, which you see a giant room with like hundreds of these 1970s giant computers.
Servers, yeah.
Yeah. Which we actually find out is Zola.
Yeah, they took Zola, which is the scientist who developed a lot of the Tesseract-based technology for Hydra.
And they talk about Operation Paperclip, which after the war, America takes a lot of the scientists from Germany to kind of advance their own things.
Right. And
Zola's basically exposition man at this point.
Yeah, he essentially just says, yeah, they downloaded my mind on all these computers, so I can like still work for them. And he pretty much acted as a parasite for Hydra in S.H.I.E.L.D. and like spread over the years to where like now a huge portion of S.H.I.E.L.D. is Hydra.
Yeah, he's basically said that over the years the vision of S.H.I.E.L.D. has changed into the vision of Hydra.
Yeah. And
anytime history went against what they wanted, they changed history. And you see these scenes of the Winter Soldier involved things. You see people being killed. Like they have like the obituary of Howard Stark.
Yeah, Howard and I don't think Maria Stark. I could be wrong. Mr. and Mrs. Stark.
Yeah, there you go. So it's implied that they're the ones that killed them.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of interesting things there. And then you find out that he's been stalling the whole time, that there's a missile coming to blow the bunker up.
Yeah, and thank you to Captain America's magic shield. They survive.
And Captain America uses his magic shield.
So they survive the missile, and they show up. Well, is there a scene in between this?
I think there's like planes flying over. They're able to escape, but I brought up the point, like, how did they get... They end up going to Sam's.
Yeah.
How did they get from Jersey to DC without being detected?
How does Hulk get to a different country without being detected?
The Hulk ferry? Do you think they just, like, found Bruce Banner in Jersey and said, hey, can you swim us to DC?
Bruce Banner? Wow, I can't believe we ran into you. Good thing this is off screen.
I mean, we're supposed to use our imagination here. That's what I'm going to believe, that they found Bruce Banner... And he turned into the Hulk, and they rode him from New Jersey all the way to DC.
Much like Snorlax from Pokemon.
Basically.
Who, if you don't know, swam to multiple islands just to eat food. Bring back that Orange Island arc.
Oh, God, no one talks about that one.
Yeah, well, Tracy's not as good as Brock.
I don't even know who that is.
He was the guy they replaced Brock with.
All right, this is not it's not a Pokemon podcast.
Oh, okay.
All right, so they actually go to Sam's... house, which I brought up the point that Sam does not refrigerate his mustard.
Yeah, at first I was all for Sam. He's like, just got it back from working out, gonna drink me some orange juice straight out of the bottle. And then I was like, yeah, that's a man's man. And then Brendon's like, he doesn't refrigerate his mustard. And I'm like, don't like him. Worst MCU character. What monster doesn't refrigerate mustard?
If you refrigerate your mustard, tweet us at
Don't even waste our time. If you don't refrigerate your mustard, what's wrong with you? That's what I want to know. I want to get your psychiatric report.
We kind of get cleaned up there. They kind of
not refrigerating ketchup. That's horrible. No, don't give me that look like you do that.
My lovely wife may or may not refrigerate the ketchup.
Oh, we are having a discussion after this.
Anyway, we kind of they get to clean up. They get a story. They kind of come up with a plan of what they're going to do. You brought up an interesting fact that Black Widow has a arrow necklace on.
Yeah, it was one of those small details that I totally never would have noticed my first time watching. But she has a little arrow necklace, and at the time, it was still kind of like, well, are Hawkeye and Black Widow a thing? Like, what? And I don't know if this was like to kind of rile that up more. But knowing Civil War and the events that happened there...
Well, that's Avengers.
Or Avengers 2.
Yeah.
Not Civil War. Avengers 2. That clears a lot of that up. I could totally see that as Black Widow buying that for herself just to taunt Hawkeye.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. It's kind of a weird thing, unless you're trying to like say like, hey, he's a thing even though he's not in this movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
I guess to remind them that, yeah, she has a tight relationship. Again, it's one of those things, I don't think anyone would have really noticed the first time through.
Yeah, it's a small detail, but it's just kind of, why is it there? It doesn't really add. It actually might subtract.
It doesn't do anything. I don't think it hurts much. It's just kind of there.
But we find out that Sam was not actually a paratrooper, as he said. He actually was a prototype exoskeleton flying suit.
Yeah, with sweet wings.
Called Project Falcon.
He's Falcon. I get it.
Which he says he wants to help out. He says the best way to come back to the service is to help Captain America.
Yeah.
Because, patriotism.
And it's Captain America.
Have you looked into his eyes?
Dreamy.
He
said, map, I got lost.
He says the only way to get the suit, there's one left, it's behind 12 armed gates and like 18 inches of steel.
Like 3 armed gates and 12 inches of steel.
That too.
You're making it way more exciting than it was.
But it's just funny because Black Widow and Cap are just like, oh, that's it? Okay. We'll get that by like in the next 2 hours.
Which...
They do.
They don't show it on screen. They're just like, done.
Yeah, it's so insignificant they don't even need to show it. So we get the scene now with the terrible senator from Pennsylvania.
Oh, man. Oh, gosh. Yeah, it's not good.
Tat Pumi. I don't know. Maybe that's...
Tat Pumi! Oh, no. I don't like that name at all.
I forget his name. But anyway, he's talking to one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. And then he just gets close for a hug and whispers, "Hail Hydra."
Which was a meme for several months.
Oh, it was a big meme.
Yeah.
But they hack the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. What is it? Sam? No. Was Samwell? Is that? No, that's not. That's Game of Thrones. I don't forget what this guy's name is. The S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. The bald one.
Oh, yeah, it's like Simwell or something like that.
Simwell, maybe that's it. Whatever.
Bald guy who's been in a lot of movies.
Yeah, he's like not a faceless SHIELD agent, but no one really cares about him.
Yeah, he's that guy, you know, it's like, oh, it's that guy who was in Thor.
He's been in like 3 movies now,
yeah.
and no one cares. Anyway, they hack his phone and say, like, you're going to go to the back of this building and get into a silver car, and he's like, why not? And they say, because that suit looks really expensive, I hate to mess up, and they have a laser pointer, which we have no idea if there's actually a rifle on it, but there's a laser
pointer. Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. And we go to the roof, and they do this interrogation scene. We see the Falcon suit for the first time, which is sweet.
I like this interrogation scene a lot, because it's like Captain America pushes him up to the edge of this building, and he's like, come on, Cap, pushing me off a building, that's not your style, you wouldn't do that. And he's like, you're right, I wouldn't. But she would, and he steps back, and Black Widow straight up just kicks the dude off. And it's like, while he's falling, they're just like, what about, what's her name? Cindy from, like, accounting. How about her? He's like, with the lip piercing, yeah. Or no, Lillian. That's what he was like. Lillian, yeah. She's nice.
Yeah, they're still giving dating advice, even this. And then we see the Falcon
Yeah,
scene.
and then Falcon comes up and drops the guy off, which is a really funny scene.
And he basically spills the whole thing, that this Project Insight, they've been looking at all these records, all this data, and they can basically target who they think is going to be a threat in the future and eliminate them beforehand.
And they list Stephen Strange.
Yeah,
on that.
Little name drop on Stephen Strange, which we're doing this in chronological order, and Doctor Strange is still towards the end of this, so
yeah.
The only thing is I think he's in Nepal for a while in that movie. I don't know.
Like, it doesn't make, like, yeah, he's a world-famous surgeon, I guess, but that's about it.
Yeah, there's no real reason why he would be listed yet, but he's listed.
I guess if a world-famous surgeon just went off the map for a while, you'd be a little suspicious.
Or maybe they just wanted to name drop someone to get all the nerds excited.
That's
probably what happened. So they start coming up with this plan. They're going to use this agent to get through all the DNA stuff and then get to the helicarriers. And then we get this awesome fight scene on the highway.
Yeah. The Winter Soldier confronts them. And it's this great thing. Like, they end up... The cars there and stop at the overpass. And there's a point where he, like, rips the steering wheel out and stuff. And
it's crazy. Just... This scene's amazing. He has the rocket launcher a grenade launcher that he's just launching and knocking people over. There's a chain gun involved at one point, which I was just yelling, like, I know I shouldn't be rooting for the bad guy, but he kept shooting at Cap's shield.
Yeah.
And I was just like, shoot the legs!
There's a really cool part of that scene where Cap just redirects a stream of bullets at a dude.
Yeah, he's using the shield to deflect bullets to take out enemies.
Yeah.
And he takes out the chain gun. Again, I'm not going to describe the action scene. It's very well done.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Super cool.
The choreography is amazing. The way they can get close to the shots are really cool. But eventually it ends up with the Winter Soldier. We find out that's Bucky.
Yeah. A mask comes off and we find out that... And Cap's having this whole, like, Bucky? And he's like, who's Bucky? Which, I point out, why would the Winter Soldier's not said a word up until that point in the movie?
Yes.
Why would he talk then?
Because his mask is off?
Yeah, like, that's the only reason, like, oh, his mask is off, now he can talk. It's like, no.
Yeah, that's right.
No,
that's it.
No,
that's it. And it's kind of interesting because, Cap's really been going, like, toe-to-toe with this guy, been very, like, keen insight of what's going on, but as soon as he sees that, he kind of stops, and he needs actually Sam and Black Widow to basically stop him from being killed.
Yeah.
But eventually, all the SHIELD agents come in, and they're arrested, and it looks like they're about to kill Cap there until they see that there's a news copter and says, we can't put this on the news. Yeah,
they're like, okay, not here.
So they put him into a van where obviously they're going to be taking them to be killed out of public.
Which is where we see Black Widow shot.
Yeah, Black Widow's shot. She is bleeding out at this point.
And Sam's like, hey, we got to put pressure. Like, you need a doctor. We got to put pressure on this or she'll bleed out. And then one of the guards, like, raises their baton at him. And then takes it to the other guard and takes the helmet off. And it's Maria Hill to save the day.
Yay!
Way to go, Robin. And
how convenient, by the way, that she was put in the same car as Captain America.
Shield, man.
Shield magic.
Shield magic.
But they use the lightsaber, they cut out of the car.
And they go to the hidden location.
Yeah, it's in like a dam or something.
Yeah, where Nick Fury's not dead.
Before we go into that, let's cut to the one scene I think is really cool. They take the Winter Soldier back for programming.
Oh, yeah.
And you kind of get this flashback of what happened, so... And I brought this point up. Is Bucky enhanced?
Yeah, it was interesting because at first it's like, well, he just has a metal arm, and that makes sense. Well, that's super strong. But to go toe-to-toe with Captain America with just one enhanced arm is kind of weird.
And they mentioned that maybe he was experimented on by Zola
So
when he was captured.
I would say maybe he's not quite the level.
He's above average.
He's definitely superhuman, but I don't think it's like Captain America level super serum. I think it's like they enhance stuff. Maybe it's like mechanically enhanced.
Yeah, I don't know, but they kind of go through the. I think he has to have something there because I don't think you can go toe to toe with Captain America like that if you're.
Yeah,
not...
no, Captain America throws guys like no problem one-handed.
Yeah, but he go through this backstory about him falling off the train. He lost his arm. Zola experiments on him and kind of brainwashes him into this.
Yeah,
and he starts kind of getting those images back,
mm-hmm.
and then they start zapping his brain again.
Right. They kind of wipe the slate clean again. And then we jump into Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Not dead.
Yeah, so Nick Fury is not dead. He actually took this relaxing medicine that the Hulk had tried that lowers your your beats per minute to 1.
Yeah, 1 beat per minute. Which is like, how does your body...
I don't think that's how the human body
No,
works.
I'm pretty sure the human body's dead.
Probably.
And they kind of go over their plan.
Yeah, they have these targeting chips that if they put them into all 3 helicarriers, they will conveniently shoot at each other instead of the targets.
Right.
They need to get onto the helicarrier, open up this delicate thing, put this chip in, and we're good to go.
Yeah. So...
And actually, one more thing before we go into that. They do go over how Fury's like, yeah, we can rebuild S.H.I.E.L.D. And everyone's like, no, this is it. S.H.I.E.L.D.'s gone now.
Right. Which kind of makes you wonder, which we haven't seen it yet... Kind of makes me wonder if post-Infinity War we'll get Sword.
Maybe.
Like, I wonder if they're going to go from Shield to Sword, because I think at some point there was both Sword and Shield.
Did it switch attack and defense points?
Did you just hit me with a Yu-Gi-Oh! Deep cut?
I did.
Oh, man.
Anyway.
Life points to 0.
Yeah, absolutely. Your life points have never gone above 0.
Oh, ouch. Jeez. Not cool.
Anyway, yes, they go to this plan and they say S.H.I.E.L.D.'s gone after this.
Yeah, pretty much if this goes, S.H.I.E.L.D. goes.
Yeah, and they have 10 hours at this point.
Yeah.
But, Cap needs a suit, though. He doesn't have a suit anymore. I guess he got his shield back. He doesn't have a suit.
So, this leads us to our Lee cameo.
The Lee cameo.
Where Mr. Lee is now a security guard at the museum. And he's just walking around, doing his patrol. And he happens to be in the Captain America exhibit and looks over. And he says, "Oh, man, I am so fired."
So, I might be tipping my hand a little early in grading, but there are basically 3 Lee cameos I can remember almost everything happening in.
Yeah.
There's Thor.
Yeah.
There's the first Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And there's this one.
Yeah.
This one was I enjoy this one a lot.
I remember the Fantastic Four one, but that's because that was actually funny.
I don't remember that one, I don't think.
Like a mailman or something.
Okay, sure. But this one's really funny, and I think the nice thing is it actually kind of ties a plot hole together. Like, oh, you see the suit's gone. Oh, Captain America stole the suit. Hey,
Right.
It ties into the plot, unlike a lot of Lee cameos.
Yeah.
So they go in there, they go in the woods now, I guess, and they see where the helicarrier is going to be, and they start their attack run.
Right. They actually have it. They trump a lot. Like they outthink S.H.I.E.L.D. really well here.
Yeah, they actually break in and do an announcement beforehand saying, the price of freedom is high, but it's a price of only. It's a great speech.
Yeah, it's
made me feel super patriotic. It made me feel like Loki from the Dark World, like how he portrayed Captain America. You feel freedom and patriotism. That's how I felt.
Yeah, it's a really great speech. Kind of like it reminded me of the Ben Franklin quote. If you trade your freedom, or if you trade
people who trade their freedom for liberty deserve neither freedom or freedom for safety.
Yeah.
Deserve neither freedom or safety.
Yeah, it was kind of reminiscent of that.
Yeah, it kind of builds on that. Important to note, though, that Black Widow is not with Falcon or Cap here.
Yeah, she's on her own thing. Well, it's fair to say, it's fair to assume that she's recovering.
Yeah, that's what you're led to believe.
Yeah, and so...
As they're doing this, the Council has come in to see the launch of Insight.
Right. And so Pierce guides them, gives them their name tags or badges or whatever, guides them up, and they're kind of doing this over champagne. Yeah,
they're toasting when the speech comes on.
Yeah, and they're like, okay. And They try to move Insight forward to launch then.
Yeah, and a lot of the people who just heard the speech are not feeling it.
It's pretty much split. It's like there are those who are with Hydra and those who are like, I'm not with Hydra, I'm with Cap. And you get a really cool, like, kind of civil war inside S.H.I.E.L.D.
There's a lot of, like, civil wars throughout these movies, especially, like, because we just watched Black Panther, there's civil war in there. We actually have a movie called Civil War. There's a lot of this infighting and this idea of who's right, who's wrong here.
Right.
So we get this fighting throughout S.H.I.E.L.D. We find out that the one female on the council is actually Black Widow at this point, and she is leaking every S.H.I.E.L.D. secret onto the internet.
Right.
Which, I don't care who you are, that's probably illegal, and she probably should have been arrested after this movie.
Absolutely.
I mean, look what happened to Snowden.
Oh, jeez. So that's happening, and then Pierce brings up, like, we need 2 alpha level securities to do this.
And that's when we find that Fury has been flying in, and he's going to allow her to do all this.
Right. So that's kind of an interesting, like, confrontation between Fury and Pierce.
Yeah, he says, I always use my good eye or something like that. And and you see what's underneath the eye.
You should keep both eyes on your enemies or whatever.
Yeah, and you see what happened to his eye where he has this giant cut through it.
Yeah.
And again, that's pretty well done effect-wise.
It's a really good effect.
So while they're doing that, they're taking out the helicarriers, which, again, the fact that one is just constantly shooting at Falcon, like you can see the firepower it's using, it's really well done. Cap's, just getting rid of minions left and right. Again, I try not to describe the action scenes. Go see them yourself, because I cannot do them justice.
Yeah, they're really good in this movie.
They're really well done, but they take out 2 of Falcon and Cap take out the first 2 helicarriers. It's down to the third one.
And that's when Winter Soldier shows up, pretty much.
Yeah, and I thought it was funny that in the first 2, there's all this, like, resistance to them doing this. When they get to the third one, it is literally just the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, it's Cap going in, and there's the Winter Soldier, and they have this whole confrontation of, like, Cap pretty much being like, I know who you are, like, this isn't you, a whole thing. But he has to do it to save the world, really. Yeah,
so it's this kind of this idea, like, you're my friend, but at the end of the day, that doesn't matter, because hundreds of thousands of people are going to die. And you can actually see they start lining up the kill counts, and I think it caps around 750,000.
Right.
But you realize some of the names, like the president's name's listed, Tony Stark's listed, like all these people are being listed on it. So it's obviously it's a huge deal. So we get this, again, a very well done choreographed fight scene on the helicarrier. Yeah. While that's happening, we actually cut back to S.H.I.E.L.D., where we find out the name tags can actually burn through your chest and kill you instantly.
Yeah.
And Pierce is going to try and use Black Widow to get out of here to kind of, fight another day.
Right.
So we kind of have that plot point happening as well. My brain just froze. Okay, so we're on the helicarrier. We see the fight scene. Eventually, Cap is being shot multiple times by the Winter Soldier, but he puts the targeting chip in.
Yeah, he gets it in.
And he tells Maria Hill to fire right now, which will kill all 3 of the helicarriers.
Right.
With him on it.
He pretty much tells Bucky, he's like, I'm not fighting you anymore. Like,
well, he saves Bucky first. He pulls the metal thing off him, saves him. He's like, I'm not fighting you anymore. And he just starts wailing on Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
And then he says that line, I'm with you till the end.
Yeah.
And then we kind of see them all fall into the Potomac.
Yeah.
Giant explosions.
Of course, to, like, just music. No other sound effects. Which is
we didn't bring this up, but the music in this movie is so well done.
The music and the sound design, the Foley they used, is really good.
Just, it really sets the tone for every scene they use the music in.
Yeah.
Like, I was very impressed with how they were using the music. Black Widow gives her one of her own electrical things to stop the burning thing.
Yeah.
And Fury shoots Pierce, killing him, with his last words being, Hail Hydra.
Yeah. So it's a pretty intense climax.
And it's, the whole thing. I mean, the whole thing's really well done. The last 3 minutes of this movie is just, again, there's some movies we talk about, like, I can't wait till this movie ends.
Yeah.
I don't know, like The Dark World. I did not feel that one bit throughout this movie.
No.
This movie's paced very well. Yeah. The action's done very well. Like I said, the comedy's light, but they do use it strategically to good effect.
They use it. They don't pull an Iron Man 3 and make a joke at
the
very
climax.
climactic
Yeah.
part.
No, it's again very well done movie.
Yeah.
We get Steve pulled out. He's in the hospital. He's listening to Trouble Man with Sam.
Which I won't lie, this movie might have been a better Marvin Gaye sponsored thing than Hubba Bubba, because I kind of want to listen to Trouble Man.
Well, there you go. So he's awake now. Steve's okay. Black Widow is kind of speaking Congress, defending what she did and saying, and they kind of say a thing like, you should be in jail for what you did. And she's like, you're not going to put me in jail. You need me too much to be put in jail. I'm too valuable. We kind of cut to all the other characters. Maria Hill now works for Stark Industries, which I'm kind of surprised with her being at Stark that she's never seen again.
Yeah, you'd think she'd come up.
Even just cameos or something.
Yeah, like, she could have probably fit in somewhere like a call or something for Spider-Man or something like that.
Yeah, it's weird that you don't see her anymore, unless there's another plan. I doubt there's a plan, though, if you're going straight to Infinity War after this.
Yeah, because they didn't put Friday in yet, did they? Did they do Friday in Ultron?
Yeah, it's in Ultron.
Friday is? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, once the Vision's made.
I was going to say, maybe unless she did Friday, but I doubt it.
Anyway, we get that Sharon Carter is working for the CIA now. Tat Pumi has been arrested by the FBI, so Pennsylvania can get a good senator.
Yeah, working on it.
Yeah, trying. Yeah, so we kind of get everything. Nick Fury burns his entire
everything, really,
including his eye patch. He's now an eyeglass man,
which looks good. It's a good look for Nick. And he kind of confronts, not confronts, but he meets with Sam and Cap at his own grave.
Yeah, and he tries to recruit him, but he says we got other things to do. Black Widow gives Cap the file on the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, and interesting little Easter egg you noted. The quote on Nick Fury's tombstone is a quote from Pulp Fiction that his character said.
Yeah, the path of a righteous man.
Yeah.
And he goes through that. So, yeah, there's a nice little tie-in there. Yeah, that's kind of about it.
Yeah, that's where the movie ends. I mean, the stinger is Bucky being in the museum and kind of seeing that, but it doesn't really add much.
I guess the only thing I wanted to point out in my notes that we didn't talk about, we kind of forgot about. Do you want to talk about the theme of Captain America movies with planes and people?
Planes and people? The fact that if there's a plane and people present, a human smoothie will be made.
Yeah, so Captain America: The First Avenger was our first movie we did. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And there was a human smoothie scene where someone goes through a propeller.
Yeah.
And there's a scene in here where a person goes through a propeller.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I don't know if that's in Civil War.
I get the reference in other movies with, like, cutting the hand off, and it's like a Star Wars thing, and I get it. But, like,
what's the symbolism of turning someone into chum?
Fargo? I don't know.
Maybe that's it. Maybe they want to reference North Dakota
I
in these
don't know.
Captain America movies. What's more America than North Dakota?
I haven't even seen Fargo.
I've never seen Fargo either.
From it.
Put your friend in the wood chipper, right?
Yeah, that's the only quote I know from that movie.
I feel like our dad says that way too much. Maybe that says something about our
upbringing.
Yes.
So
that's why we're spending our Saturday morning reviewing Marvel movies instead of living a life.
So that is where that movie closes, and now it's time to do our great new. We decided to switch up. Shield's not really prevalent anymore.
Yeah, Shield's gone.
So we're gonna switch up to the Hydra scale.
You want to explain the Hydra scale?
Sure. The Hydra scale. The H stands for hero. Pretty standard.
Still got that.
Pretty standard. You know, it's a comic book. You have here. The Y is for Yad guy.
Yeah, the Yad guy.
The Yad guy. Similar to the bad guy, but not the same.
Yeah.
The D is for druids. We're the druids.
Which I think, if he's a shield wizard, maybe he gets some druid points.
He might get a few druid points. The R for Ra. Did the next coming of Ra happen?
This is a pass fail. You think at a 5 or 0 is Ra in the movie?
Yeah. Did Ra ascend down to the mortal plane? And the A is for abolitionists.
Yeah. How many abolitionists do you see in this movie?
Was there any abolition happening?
0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Okay. So you ready to go through this?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing we've ever talked about on this podcast.
I mean, druids?
Well, no, that's the one that I think Ra was the deal breaker there.
Really?
Yeah. All right, we're going through the shield scale now. That was something we talked about in the movie that like we laughed out for like 10 minutes, and I don't really know why. We might need to cut that part out.
Nah, we're keeping it in.
All right.
Yad guy was too good.
The shield scale, the scale we actually use, our scientists spent years developing, and you wanted to throw out the windows first time you could. Scoundrel, I
try to stick to the scientists whenever I can.
Hey, those scientists work hard for very little pay.
They don't get locked in a room.
They're locked in the basement.
Well, yeah, but shut up.
It's a little bigger than this room.
Yeah.
Like by like 2 feet. Anyway, Scoundrel, how's the villain portrayed in this movie? What's their motives look like? How's the action with the villain portrayed? Hero, again, the hero development. How's the hero scenes? Anything like that. Integrity, does this movie hold up after the years? Or just in general, visually, how does it hold up? Entertainment, how entertained were you watching this movie? The Lee cameo. How's the Lee cameo? Was it enjoyable? Was it plot relevant?
A staple to every Marvel movie.
A staple to every Marvel movie. And finally, development. How does this develop the MCU? So let's start with the Scoundrel. Kind of got to clarify what we're talking about here. I guess we've got to talk about, are we talking about Pierce, the Winter Soldier, and Hydra all in general?
The Winter Soldier doesn't really have an agenda of his own.
So I guess are we going to say the villain's Hydra?
Yeah. I guess, yeah, because then we can kind of zero in on the representatives of it, but...
Okay, so we're going to say the villain is Hydra, the Scoundrel is Hydra.
Scoundrel.
Is this. I liked it a lot. I think the idea that you have S.H.I.E.L.D., you think it's this great thing, but it's actually been infiltrated by Hydra agents over the years, and it's slowly developed its own agenda. I think the idea of them saying, we tried to take freedom away, and it didn't work, so now we're going to have them give us their freedom.
Yeah.
It's an interesting motive. The kind of like the police state, I think, is relevant today when you talk about the fact that, you know, anything that's picked up on my cell phone right now is probably going to be on a Facebook ad later today. So I think that idea is really interesting that they tie it in. So and again, if we're looking, Pierce kind of has that, the way he's portrayed in the movie, you don't really know which side he's on.
Yeah.
But he's I think I would kind of agree with your sense that he kind of really believes in what he's doing. He thinks it's right.
Yeah. What I like the idea that it's Captain America and Black Widow and Falcon against this organization and not just one person.
Yeah, because I think if you just do one person, again, and you get that with the Winter Soldier, but it would just be, you know, fighting it out, not really any motives, because like it's hard to have conflicting ideologies with Captain America.
Yeah,
it's hard to do that.
It's
not impossible.
Not impossible, but it's hard. And it's kind of one of those things that they pull it off really well in doing it against this organization. And I kind of wish Iron Man would have done that with the 10 Rings.
Mm-hmm.
Like they hint at so often in those movies.
Iron Man 4, man. Maybe.
No. I think Iron Man's done with
Solos. I think Iron Man's done.
But yeah, they really... I do wish they did do that better in previous movies, but I'm really happy they did it very well here. It is definitely... You get these people who... I don't want to even say are members, but like disciples of Hydra.
Mm-hmm.
They believe it so deeply.
And just how much it's like intertwined with the government and all that. And if I'm gonna add that, the Winter Soldier, all the fight scenes are done very well in there. Mm-hmm. It's believable that he could handle Captain America. I'm gonna go 4.25.
I'll give it a 4. And this is my Iron Man is your Captain America. You enjoy this movie, and I enjoyed it too. It's a very good movie.
Yeah, you're the Iron Man apologist. I'm the Captain America apologist.
Well, till we get to Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, that's only one movie, so that's fine. We get the hero, heroes, I guess. So we got Falcon, we've got Cap, and we've got
Falcon.
We introduced Falcon, we've got Cap, and we've got Black Widow. What do you think?
I like the heroes a lot. I mean, Captain America's, like we said, at the end of Captain America 1, you kind of get like a really good moment, and they kind of nail that in place with this because it is Captain America. Captain America's a great hero to put when you have ideals being compromised, and he does that very well here because it's a whole organization working to compromise these ideals he believes in so deeply.
Mm-hmm.
And you get Black Widow is just functionally a great hero. Her character's fun. She's very flirty and like sassy, and it's fun. And it's kind of the same thing with Falcons. It's fun. He's a cool hero, but clearly they did a good job of focusing. Like, this is still a Captain America movie.
Mm-hmm. And I think one thing I've noticed rewatching this in Phase 2 is they focus a lot on their heroes can't kind of go to their full potential. They have to be more covert.
Yeah.
Because you think Iron Man 3, well, he doesn't have his suits and he's like
Right.
on the run. You think Thor 2, well, he's being charged with treason and he's got to be covert. You think here, obviously, he's got the entire country hunting him.
Right.
So, and I think this did the best job at showing that. The idea that when a hero's put under pressure. I mean, if I had to rank it, I think this, Iron Man, Thor, because Thor's always going to be the bottom of Thor, because Thor 2 is terrible. But I think they do a good job with, like, Cap has to be covert, and he's got experience in that, and you can, it's believable. Or if I look at Tony Stark, as cool as that scene was in the mansion, like, it's kind of hard to believe he's that stealthy.
He's flying by the seat of his pants.
Yeah.
Is kind of what it is.
This is a lot more believable. I think the heroes do very well. I love Falcon. I think he's a great addition to the MCU. I don't know if we're going to get a Black Widow solo movie, but I think she got enough screen time on here that, like, you get a lot of that development in there. So, again, I think I'm going to go 4.25 on this. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, what I really like is they all work, like, synergize really, really well on screen. So, I think I'll give you the 4.25 on that one.
All right.
I like the way they all work together.
Hey, the integrity. Does this movie hold up?
Yeah, it looks really good.
We were talking during the movie that the effects in this movie that came out at this point 3.5 years ago look better than Black Panther that I saw last week.
At the end. Black Panther.
No, I'm even going to go so far throughout the movie.
Really?
I think so.
I think Black Panther's effects were amazing throughout the movie.
I think the problem with a movie like Black Panther, they rely a lot on effects. With this movie, is a lot more grounded.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to green screen a mall. You can go to a mall.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think that's the thing with when you use like CGI.
Yeah.
Like, think of like Jurassic Park has CGI, but they use enough props and practical effects that it blends in very well.
Yeah.
And that's what this movie does very well. You use that practical effects to go with your CGI, and it blends very well. The choreography is very well done.
Very well done.
It's still, I guess it's a little more with, well, no, this entire, the concept, the debate is still relevant even today.
Oh, yeah.
The way the country's going, you know, that's something you can look at and...
Yeah, it's not a dated concept. It's not like dealing with, like...
polio.
Or... it's not like dealing with, like, the ideas of, like, slavery or something like that.
Yeah, it's very relevant, topical. I'm giving it 5. I think this movie holds up. It's a great movie to watch. Everything's still relevant. Everything's well done. Nothing looks dated. I can't find a way to fault it. I'm giving it a 5.
Okay.
Prove me wrong.
My gut reaction is 4.5. No lie.
Okay. Well, tell me, was there something in this movie that didn't hold up?
When you say it like that, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I don't know. I just... Yeah.
I mean, if you want to go 4.5, I mean, I did that last movie where I said, I don't know why I want to say this for one of the categories, but I'm going to say it's this.
It's just my gut reaction is 4.5. Like, and 4.5, it sounds like a stickler put up next to a 5, but 4.5 is really good.
Compared to some of the other scores in this movie?
4.5 is, like, super good.
4.5 would actually be our third highest out of all our rankings put together in integrity.
Yeah, it's really
the only movie that scored higher integrity is Avengers.
My gut just wants to say 4.5.
All right, that's fine, 4.5. Yeah. But like I said, I can't think of something in this movie that did not hold up.
Right.
Which is why I got to give it the 5. You know, I'm not going to fault it for something I don't see. But if you feel that way, and you know, we've got some other movies coming up. Maybe you don't want to hand out 5s willy nilly like I do.
I've been very free with 5s lately.
Entertainment.
It's entertaining and less of a. I don't want to say that's not fun, but it drags you in. Like, you're into this, like, conspiracy of it. It like, I'm not sitting here like smiling, having a good time at the movie. Maybe jokes we make about it or something, but like, it definitely draws you in with the drama and the suspense of it, and like. And
it builds. It just keeps building and building, get more serious and more serious.
Yeah.
Like I said, all the action scenes are done really well. The comedy's used just enough. Like, it was a little heavy-handed, I guess, in the beginning.
Yeah, but again, there wasn't anything at stake.
There were no stakes in the beginning, so. It's used intermittently to good effect there.
Yeah.
I think, you know, you have your characters are doing what they're supposed to be on screen. I want to go 5 again, but I mean, I'm trying to think. I might go 4.75 because when I look at like, man, do you have a score? Let's hear your score first.
I was going to say 4.75 too.
Okay.
The action scenes alone are super well done, but the plot and the story and the acting in it that portrays it is very good. The tension in a lot of scenes, like the elevator scene, it kind of builds and builds as it goes along. It's super well done.
And again, I'm trying to rack my brain. Is there something I was not entertained with in this movie?
Zolo?
Zolo was kind of meh.
You know, that's what the integrity was for me.
That was the integrity Zolo.
When the missile hits it, and it's like I don't know, how do you get out of all that rubble? That's where I'm docking it for integrity.
Okay, for integrity. Okay,
that's my justification.
But again, I cannot find anything that was. I thought so. It's a 5. It's a 5. We're giving it a 5. That's a great movie.
You're allowed to love movies. Lee cameo, strong Lee cameo.
I'll let you do. You're the Lee expert.
Strong Lee cameo. It was really. It's funny. It's funny in its sense where it wasn't like in Black Panther, where it's like it's just the way it's delivered. Like to see this old guy like, oh man, I'm so fired. It's just funny to me, and it does kind of fit in with the story. It explains something. Like, it explains, like, oh, he got his old suit. And, like...
Ties into the plot.
Not even a minute.
Like, when I try and find some of the Lee cameo besides, like, funny, I was like, how does it tie into the plot? Is it forced? Is it, hammered in there, shoehorned in there? Or is it fit and, like, feel organic with the story? And this felt organic with the story.
It felt really organic. See, I want to save it for...
No. Do what you need to. I'm going 4.75. Because I feel like this is the same level as the Thor one. Yeah. And I don't know if it's the perfect Lee cameo. I'm still waiting for that perfect Lee cameo.
I have the perfect Lee cameo in my mind. We just won't do it as part of the recap.
Well, we'll get there.
Yeah, I'll give it a 4.75. It's a really good one. It's funny enough.
Again, I like it when it ties into the plot. Yeah. It brings it back. It kind of brings you back that nostalgia from the first one.
Yeah.
Because you get the old suit back on Cap. It's kind of nice to see. Better than the crappy. I'm glad they burned the Avengers suit. Yeah. We don't need to see that ever again.
Yeah, that's out the window. Luckily.
Development. How does this develop the MCU?
This is one I'm going to be hard pressed not to give it a 5. It's like Avengers. Like, they dismantle S.H.I.E.L.D.
They blew up S.H.I.E.L.D. You add Falcon. You add the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
You find Hydra still around.
It's hard not to give it a 5 for development. It adds so many major elements to...
You have Fury no longer in power.
I mean, he's around,
but he's not ahead of... He doesn't have the resources anymore.
But at the same time...
Stephen Strange is mentioned. Okay. Come on. All right, I'm grasping at straws on that one.
At the same time, you take away Maria Hill.
Okay.
She's never seen again.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna...
That's not a big loss to me, though.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not at a huge loss for Pierce. I think it would have been interesting to keep him in, but...
Or even the council. Even keeping the council more involved, I guess, you could say.
But I like, Pierce... if they kept Pierce in, I'd definitely be like, oh, now he's out there. And I would definitely want to give it more for development. Mm-hmm. It would be like Claw.
Yeah.
Like, if they did that with Claw.
Yeah.
And would they do in Avengers too. But it would be like that. But because he died and it was kind of self-contained and that's sort of fine, I don't want to docket points for that. But I'm just saying I would have definitely given it more if he did that, if he was still around.
I just think it does so much for the universe. It's earth-shattering compared, because you think like S.H.I.E.L.D's the good guy, S.H.I.E.L.D's here to help us.
Yeah.
And then it twists and turns, and then you basically blow it all up. It's a 5 for me.
Yeah,
I can't.
I'll give it a 5 too. I'll hand it that 5. If there's one 5, it definitely earns it as development. It changes the universe kind of forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's a game changer. We're back. The scientists have calculated our scores.
Yep.
Years of work went into the system, and it's finally produced that. I'm very happy because Captain America's on top, baby.
Hey, I had my Iron Man run. That's fine.
Captain America: The Winter Soldier is right now the best movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe rewatch.
Interested that it took out Avengers and Black Panther.
I think what's really interesting is not necessarily that it took it out, is how much it took it out for.
Yeah.
There's a significant gap, especially between Black Panther and this, but also just between the Avengers and the Winter Soldier. This was a very strong movie.
I wonder if we would have done it in order, if it would be different. This is a great movie. I'm not saying it doesn't belong at the top, but I'm wondering if we did do Black Panther where it belonged, if it would have been...
The world will never know.
The world will never know. That's interesting.
But hey, it's Black Panther's still top 3. So right now, top 3 is Captain America, Winter Soldier, Avengers, Black Panther.
I think that's super fair, honestly.
Yeah. The more you look... I think it is a fair ranking so far.
Yeah.
Especially because I was talking to you earlier this week that I might have actually dropped Black Panther the more I think about the effects at the end. But anyway, it's a solid top 3, and then we got all the other ones there. So yeah, welcome to the top, Cap.
Yeah, this is a great movie. I got nothing else to say besides that. It's a great movie.
And that's the thing. This isn't I like that you said great movie. This isn't a great comic book movie. This is a great movie.
Good movie. Yeah.
It's a good movie. And I think this might help reinforce my point that the Captain America trilogy is at least top 7 in the history of film.
It's a good one, yeah. I don't know. I'm bad at ranking that stuff.
Yeah, that's hard. Yeah, as we do a podcast that ranks things.
Well, it's easy to do that one at a time. It's hard for me to go through
a list. That's true.
In my head.
All right, so next week, Connor, are you hooked on a feeling?
You know what? I don't know, but
you got nothing.
You know what? I listen to that soundtrack a lot, and totally lost any reference I was about to make.
Well, we're going to space next episode because we're going to be doing Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
We get to see the greatest actor in Hollywood, Chris Pratt. I have a Chris Pratt Funko Pop as we do our podcast right now, staring at Connor.
I have a Star-Lord one.
Oh, I just have Andy Dwyer.
Get good.
Yeah. But yeah, we're doing Guardians of the Galaxy next week. I'm excited. That's a fun movie. Again, probably the best. Has a lot of strong music in there. Like, the soundtracks took the country by storm.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So, I'm excited. We're going to do Guardians of the Galaxy. Get a little cosmic in here.
Yeah. Some could say we're going all the way.
Wow.
I'm not in love with it, but I want you back. Some could say I fooled around and fell in love.
Are you just reading off names of songs in that movie?
Part of a Moon Age daydream as a spirit in the sky.
Can you stop, please?
Come and get your love. I had to.
I think you need to work on your ABCs 1, 2, 3s.
Yeah, you know what to say. No mountain high enough. So.
All right, I'd like to thank the Couch Gnomes for their precious.
Do you think we need to escape this?
Yes, we do.
Parentheses, the pina colada song.
No, stop. I'd like
to pull up the album for that. I just want to remind everyone.
He was on his phone for a solid 2 minutes trying to find something.
Vamp out so I could get that goof.
No, I was not vamping. I'm not helping you on this one. I'd like to thank the Couch Gnomes for their valuable YouTube time they give us every week to talk about comic book movies and have you join us on this journey to get ready for the Infinity War, which now comes out a week earlier.
Yeah, great. Thanks. We're super happy to have it. I want to do a podcast for a while, and I'm glad that we got one with a good purpose. You're already listening on YouTube, so if you keep an eye on the YouTube channel, we're always doing some cool new stuff. We stream every Friday on Twitch, usually somewhere around 6 to 6:30 we start. There's our Facebook, Instagram, all that jazz. I only watch Facebook and YouTube because
that's all we care about here on our podcast.
Yeah. We have a Spreadshirt. I still have not gotten Kanai to make that recording. The link is in the description. We have a really awesome shirt. I ordered it. Actually, a new one just went up yesterday, I think. I ordered the Namfoodle shirt. It's a sweet little mascot Kanai made up. We also have a weeb shirt, I like to call it. We have a Japanese Couch Gnome shirt.
Oh, boy.
It says Couch Gnomes in Japanese. Well, something close to Couch Gnomes.
I'm still waiting for your dad's shirt.
Yeah, I gotta do that. It's the whole thing. I am thinking of in the future just making a Super Marvel Brothers shirt with just the logo.
All right, I can get behind that.
I like the logo for that a lot. All right, so tune in next week for some Guardians of the Galaxy,
where Connor will spend all week trying to find terrible references.
I'm going to listen to that soundtrack non-stop. So
we're going to get you ready for everything we can. So yeah, going to space, Guardians of the Galaxy next week. Catch you later.
see ya.